welcome to the Normn Hyperbolic Filler. We're usually here to talk anime, video games, and movies. I am your host, X, also known as Young Morgan Freeman. And with me, as always, is my co-host, Kid Lewis.
What up, what up, what up? It's your boy, Kid Lewis, back at it again, being a menace to society.
Being a menace to society, bro?
Yes, sir. We're always a menace to society, bro.
Yeah, we got some.
Especially in the anime world.
Oh, yeah. I know we're coming hard on this anime game. No Diddy on that beat. But we're trying to be the #1 anime podcast out there.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And it's a mission that we're going to accomplish pretty soon, man. Yes. I definitely have faith in us and in our abilities to do podcasts and talk anime.
But in this episode, the filler, we're not going to be talking about too much anime, but we are going to be talking about hip hop because that is a corner of our podcast, I feel like.
Yes, it is. We, if you ever listened to a couple of our past episodes, we definitely have a huge appreciation for hip hop and anime, especially when they bring those two together. But this time on this filler, we're kind of taking the anime part of it and just speaking on hip hop, especially what's going on for the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Between this huge beef between Kendrick and the boy. Drizzy, the lover boy.
Yeah.
So, man, let's dive into it, man. It's been a crazy weekend. I can say that for sure. It has been a crazy roller coaster of a weekend, man.
So we had planned to do this episode Saturday, and we both had plans or whatever. So it was like, okay, we'll do it Monday. And I'm kind of glad we didn't do it Saturday because from Saturday to today, they've come out with I think 3 songs between them.
Yes.
So by the time we release the episode, I think they might even have more songs released.
Could be.
But, we're hitting it now. And this is just in between our usual stuff.
Yes.
But, yeah, man.
So let's jump into it, bro. Let's talk about it.
Lead with
First of all, I want to say is, just to get started, is I want to say, me personally, I don't speak on X, but me personally, I like both Drake and Kendrick. I have respect for both of them and their arts, and the way they rap, the music that they produce. I have respect for. Of course, I do stand when it comes to good pop music or good catchy music. I will always give it to Drake. I feel like he can definitely produce music that is catchy, bumpy stuff that you want to bump in the car kind of thing. And when it comes to Kendrick, the way this nigga can rhyme, his cadence, his lyrics, I feel like he's unmatched. Well, I say that now because I've always kind of said that J. Cole would be his perfect rival. Right. I still think to this point J. Cole is his perfect rival, but I feel like this was a chance for J. Cole to show that. But I do stand by when he's apologized. I feel like everybody now is standing by J. Cole's apology.
You didn't at first.
I didn't at first because I was pissed.
Yeah,
I was pissed as a true J. Cole fan. This is what we all wanted.
Right.
We wanted 2 great persons that just knows how to put a story together, come at each other. No Diddy on that one. No Diddy. I mean, we didn't get what we wanted, but we sure got something else instead.
Well, you got 7-minute drill.
We got 7-minute drill, but that was just he even said it was like a warning shot. But then he took it back. He took it out of his album. He apologized.
I know.
And at the end of the day, I thought
did he
make the right move? Did J. Cole make the right move by doing that?
Did he make the right move? So I wasn't a fan of when he apologized. I was a fan of the song. There are some things that I didn't agree with, but if he believed the things that he was saying, then I think it was a nice diss track against. Yeah. But because he was talking about how his last album was trash and the second album also trash.
But that people gassed it.
So if
because he's Kendrick.
But if he didn't believe that, then I would say, take it down, or I don't want to say reword it. You shouldn't have said it in the first place then. But he did have lines about his arms being too short to box with the god.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, it was little shots here and there. You know what I mean?
So that is what I kind of wish this battle is J. Cole versus Kendrick, where I feel like them two can rap against each other very friendly and still take nice shots at each other without it getting
super messy this.
Yeah, super how it is now. Yeah, personal and messy.
Personal and way messy.
Yeah, and they would keep it focused with each other too, instead of Drake is involving all these other people in the beef.
We'll get other people involve Drake into the beef.
No, man, he's the one who is making these shots.
People were taking shots at Drake to begin with.
Drake's been taking shots forever, for a hot minute.
Well, I mean, he probably has.
And especially if you're doing a direct reply to Kendrick, why would you bring other people in the beef if they aren't in fold with Kendrick.
Well, if you think about it, I feel like there's no real pinpoint of when this whole beef be. You know what I mean? Like
the beef.
When did this whole feud that Kendrick has, this hatred towards Jake, really began? I mean, from what I've been reading online, people said that when they went on tour together, there was a small time when Kendrick jumped into Drake's tour. When Kendrick went on Drake's tour, that Kendrick saw some shit that he disliked. And that's when he really noticed that Drake didn't write a lot of his music, that there was ghostwriter. And he felt like that was a disrespect to the hip hop industry.
Okay. It was making hip hop more pop, and it was like, I don't know, taking away the visceral reality that it is. I don't know. I think that it's just always been like this, where Kendrick and Drake are just so different, come from the same genre of music, which is hip hop. Mm-hmm. So I think that's where it is. That's where it started. Because I believe that J. Cole and Kendrick are friends. I believe J. Cole and Drake are friends. But I don't believe that Drake and Kendrick were ever friends.
Were ever friends? I don't think so either.
I don't think so.
I think maybe they were like two artists, whatever, coming together sometimes here and there, or just passing each other's pathway. But that's about it. You know what I mean? I mean, if you do find out, like, it's like finding out it's like finding out if Kendrick was using ghostwriters. How would you feel about that? After everybody said, like, damn, his lyrics are on point. His lyrics are like crazy, phenomenal. Like, this shit takes weeks to break down.
So that's what happened to me and Drake, because I was a big Drake fan when he was up and coming. His EP was in 2009. I was in like high school. I was like,
everybody was bumping Drake in high school, man.
Right? Yeah,
or even shit.
And even when we go on vacations and we go on like to places with a lot of people, whenever I'm handed the aux, I really don't play my music because my music's like sad and listen to a lot of emo rap. If I have to play something safe that I can still bump, but also know that other people maybe having heard it for the first time or heard it passing, you play Drake. You know, like that's the safe. He's got a bunch of hits, a bunch of number ones, and everybody really gels with his music, at least when it's on. So it did change for me when I found out that Drake had ghostwriter. It didn't change too much because I never put him up lyrically against anybody, like even early J. Cole and Kendrick, because I already had my top 5 at the time, and he had to have beat out like Eminem and Lil Wayne, and I don't think Kanye West was ever on my top, but he was up there for me as far as like lyrics, because that's what I'm into is lyrics. He was witty and he was funny, which is why I like Wayne. To have Kendrick like eclipse as far as like lyrics, and you can see it.
You can, bro. You can see it.
Well, like in the trajectory, like how when he was coming up, Drake, how he was like, oh, well, he's like not impressed. He's like giving his respects, but you can kind of see that he's bothered by that people are even like saying this about somebody who he thinks that he put on. I was just trying to explain this whole beef to my girl the other day, and first place that I could start was Soulja Boy.
Soulja Boy.
She's like, so what's with all the beef? Like, why does Kendrick and J. Cole?
All right, go ahead. Explain it to me. What about Soulja Boy? I know the nigga talks a lot of smack when he's on, when he's doing these one-on-one conversations, or he goes into these.
That's the first thing I said to my girl. It's like, all right, so you have to understand, Soulja Boy was the first rapper with an iPhone. Did you know that?
No. I mean, I heard him say it. I heard him say it.
I heard him say it. I don't know if that's true.
He said Tim Cook personally, not even Tim Cook,
Steve Jobs.
Steve Jobs personally sent him the first iPhone to test drive.
In the Crank That video.
Yeah. But he said he also invented FaceTime. He was the first person to invent FaceTime, and that Kiss Me Through the Phone song.
Oh, right. I know. So I like Soulja Boy a lot. So I like him in the same vein that I like Cat Williams, because I do like, some of his songs. I don't even say most of his songs. At least when he first came out, I remember that was like the hip hop that I was big into. Yeah. I didn't really like, not vibe with like, but just like old school raps. I liked Wu-Tang, but then I always felt Wu-Tang was a little low. Like you have to really listen to it. But then once you listen to it and try to rap along, then it is kind of fun. As far as like rap that I discovered, and I did kind of discover J. Cole, Kendrick, Drake, even on the internet. So I didn't hear them. I heard them on the internet before I heard them on the radio. We start with the internet is what I'm trying to say. Starting with, so Soulja Boy was the first rapper with an iPhone. He was the first, or at least the hottest one, to do internet hip hop. And then, J. Cole came out, and Drake. And J. Cole, the way I would describe it is that he was still taking a radio approach to doing hip hop in a internet. So I think that's what kind of like stunted his growth, because he was still like trying to chase that charts and billboards and the radio play, where Drake just released music. Same with like Kendrick Lamar. And I remember talking to you about where I was in this whole thing, and I don't want to be too obvious, but I'm Team Kendrick.
He's Team Kendrick. He's been Team Kendrick since the very beginning.
Since the very beginning. I've always been like
very beginning.
Like that's my team. Metro Boomin, even pick a side and stay there, bro.
Stay there. I know you said that.
So that's something I always say. And I do have respect for both, and I do like Drake for what he is. As far as like who I personally like, it is Kendrick. A question I wanted to ask you, because I wanted to give some focus to
go ahead for it.
Do you think that, because what I haven't heard from a lot of Kendrick fans is that Kendrick went too far. No one besides my girl is saying to me that Kendrick went too far when he made those letters to Adonis, his mom, his dad.
Okay, all right, look.
His theoretical daughter or real daughter.
Okay, bet. So, what was it? That Friday night when I heard Drake responded to 616 in LA with Family Matters.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, Family Matters was a great. I loved it.
Yeah.
He addressed everybody in that song with the first beat just being Kendrick alone, even fucking up the Mad City van.
I know,
and crushing that shit.
That was funny.
I was looking at that van and I was like, yo, that van looked familiar as fuck. And it finally clicked. And I was like, oh shit, Drake did not. Yeah. I'm wondering if it was a real van. Like if he really bought that shit out, shipped it out to Toronto and had that shit crushed just for the hell of it. But then he did address everybody in the second verse. And on that second beat, I think the one thing that stand out to me was when he addressed Rakim, aka ASAP Rocky.
Okay.
I thought he hit it on the nail. That was perfect.
Talking about what, Rihanna?
About Rihanna. Because in the second album of Future and Metro Boomin, when they ASAP Rocky was in one of the songs, can't recall the name of the song, but he was one of the songs, and he had said that he had hit Drake's baby mama first before Drake even hit it. So then Drake addresses this by saying, well, if you hit my baby mama first, who was I hitting before that? AKA Rihanna. Because he was with Rihanna before.
Yeah, he was crushing on her.
So, you know what I mean? So him saying that, and also him saying like, people don't fucks with your music like that. The only reason people like you is because you have a nice sense of style.
Talking about, ASAP.
ASAP has a nice sense of style when it comes to clothing, like the way he dresses, but his music is not up to par. And he says, even if you were release another album, it'll probably be mid, and your fans would probably be like, you should just go back to like, you should just do modeling.
I don't know, man.
So I thought, and the fact that he also addressed Rick Ross on that Family Matter once too, by telling him there's a lot of shit he said. Like he said, I'm gonna something murder you, and I'm gonna have Rick Ross read me my Miranda rights.
Yeah,
like I thought that verse was fire, bro. Drake really came and killed it. Out of all the songs he dropped, even with Taylor Made, even with Push-Ups, I think Family Matters was one of his toughest discs.
You think so?
I'll put that as number one.
I like Push-Ups more than Family Matters, to be honest.
You did?
I did. I do like Family Matters.
But the beat, though, he even had like a hook to it. Something like you can bump in the car, bro.
Push-Ups?
No, not Push-Ups. Family Matters.
What was it?
The beat, like Drop and Give Me 50. And then he went, no. He said that on Family Matters. Yeah, we'll be listening to it for a second, bro. Okay. You'll hear it. But anyways, back to Meet the Grams. So you're saying like, did he cross the line on that one?
Right.
After he dropped Family Matters, literally I'm driving back home. It's like 1 a.m. and I get a text message from you.
Yeah.
Just Meet the Grams. You didn't say nothing more. You said, yo, Meet the Grams. And I said,
I was just listening to
I was literally like in the car, like, did Kendrick already reply? Like, has it even been an hour yet? Like, I haven't even got done processing Family Matters. I got 7 minutes of Family Matters, like, music to like break down from Drake. Not to say that breaking Drake's lyrics down is hard. Kendrick's lyrics are harder to break down because they have so many meanings to it, so many ways of interpreting the way he says things. Drake is more like, like straight to the punch.
I don't think so. Because
you don't think so?
No, man. Because in that, I can't remember if it's in that song or another song where he's talking about, or I think it's Push-Ups. He's like, I'm out in Tokyo because I'm big in Japan. Mm-hmm. I thought he was saying like,
like he's national.
Yeah,
while everybody else is just like local. Like,
but no, he's actually talking about Future's girl whose name is Tokyo.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
But but a bunch of shit like that, he does that a lot.
He does that a lot, but it's like maybe it means one or two things.
Right.
With Kendrick, it's different. Kendrick has like 10 different meanings to one word.
Yeah.
Like even the title 616 in LA, people were like breaking it down like, oh, that's when Tupac was born on 616. That was
you
when
can apply your own
Euphoria came out.
So yeah.
That's when Bob, you know what I mean? Like there's just so many ways of interpreting. And I'm like,
that's why I think Kendrick is more of an artist because he's doing it very artful.
Yes.
Whereas, Drake is being clever and subliminal, but it is like how you said, one of two ways or maybe even three ways.
Maybe three ways, yeah.
But, it is.
But Kendrick is like 10 ways you can split it up and dice it.
But sometimes people reach. Some people think that
they're reaching too far with Kendrick's verses. Is that what you think?
Sometimes.
It could be, bro.
Sometimes. Because it is art, though.
It is art. But that's the beauty of art, though.
Right.
That you be able to look at a painting and you might think something and somebody else might think another different opinion. And a third person might say, no, it's like the artist meant this in that drawing.
Right.
And the artist like, no, it's not even all three. This is what I interpreted when I drew it.
So this is me reaching for Kendrick. When he talks about Drake's daughter, I think that it is a theoretical daughter if he's talking about and this is also maybe making an excuse, but he's talking to his son, his daughter, his son, his mother, father,
and then daughter.
But that's just to wrap it up as far as how he's talking about family matters. You have a son and a daughter, a mother and a father, like the nuclear family. So I don't know if he does have a daughter, but he also throws the allegation that he has other kids that he doesn't claim or whatever. So I think he's being very broad as far as because they say the same thing about Donald Trump, that he has kids. What
do you mean broad? I took it as
I don't think it's
took
direct.
it as this.
I don't think he knows that he has a 11-year-old daughter.
Okay,
yeah.
But
the reason I say that he was talking about 11 was because of the whole
thing with Billy.
Yeah, because she's 11, and so I think that's me reaching. But
that's what I'm saying. There's so many ways to interpret it, man.
Right.
But the fact that Drake already addressed the whole daughter situation with his last song, "The Heart Part 6," right? So I want to still answer your question. Back to Meet the Grams, right? Okay. So like I said, I was in the car. You texted me, yo. Kendrick dropped. He already replied to Family Matters. I said, damn, it hasn't been an hour. As soon as I play the song, that piano, and as soon as the nigga said, "Dear Adonis," I closed it. I said, not today, Kendrick, bro. I need to go to sleep. I
Really?
I need some rest. I didn't even finish it, bro. No. As soon as I heard him say, "Dear Adonis," that shit sounded like some shit Eminem would say.
Right, yeah.
That sounded like some Slim Shady shit, bro.
Yeah.
I was like, "Dear Adonis," I said, close my phone. I said, let me get some sleep, bro. I just got done listening to Family Matters. I don't got time to be breaking this down. I even told you, I'm like, bro, people are still breaking down Euphoria. And it's literally 3 days later on Friday, you drop 616 in LA. And now, didn't I say, now he's gonna give niggas homework over the weekend.
I know, yeah. So I was off this weekend and I was like, damn.
Right? And it's like, damn, now I gotta break this song down. Cool. You know what? I'm gonna take the day off. I'm gonna take the weekend off. I'll revisit 616 in LA on Monday. I didn't even have a chance, bro, to take a break. Already, Drake is already dropping his. Kendrick dropped an hour later. He didn't give no breaks for people to digest this stuff. And especially Kendrick's music, it has to be digested. It takes time, because like you said, there's so many ways you can interpret what he's really saying, and it takes time.
That was one of my favorites, is 616 in LA. As far as beat and a song, I do like Not Like Us, I think the most, but...
You didn't like it?
Oh, no, I did like it.
That was my favorite.
That's your favorite?
I was bumping in the car, bro.
I think that one is my favorite, but
that's the one that made me want to crip walk everywhere, bro. Just do my little I was like, okay. Even at the end, he was like, fuck OVO, everybody.
OVO.
Yo, I was like, damn, okay, Kendrick. I see you. So that was, to me, that song, Not Like Us, was kind of like a way of showing you can make Family Matters, and yes, that is a catchy song. Some shit that people can bump into or replay in the car just to fuck with the beat.
I like push-ups. I like push-ups the most just because it does kind of and it has some sense of team, where he's like, Travis got you washed up, Savage got you washed up,
yeah,
SZA got you washed up, and I'm like, damn, that's. And, I was explaining this to my girl. And I feel like I remember your girl posted something about shout out to all the girls whose guys are staying up, fucking dissecting all this shit. I was doing the same thing to my girl. I was just like, hey, this is what he's saying.
This is what he's saying. Yeah, man.
Look over here. So,
I never asked for anything else. Just listen to this. Just listen to this for 1 minute.
The reason that I like to fight from the beginning, because this has been brewing for a while, is because everybody has their and I've said this for a long time. I think Drake is like Superman, where he's almost like bulletproof. Like he's just, you can, like when the ghostwriting thing came out, he should have like been dead at that. Like, oh, you don't write your own raps. Just these hip songs that you collaborate with other rappers. No, like these singles that you put out that you put your name on are not your songs.
Yeah.
But he recovered from that. And he just recovers from all these different things that I think another rapper would also fail or fall to.
Yeah.
Kanye West is always coming back, but just keeping this between Drake is Superman and Kendrick is so
Kendrick's coming with the kryptonite.
He's coming with the kryptonite. I mean, right now he is, but I don't even know, man. I think Drake is also going to recover, because I wanted to end this also. We're not near the end or anything, but I had a question for you.
Go for it. What's the second question?
When talking about the GOAT, I have 3 things that I think have you in a contender to be the GOAT, and I just wanted to run it by you. So I think to be the GOAT, you need skill, longevity, and relevance. I also got this from Google. Because I'm like trying to figure out like
what makes a person the greatest in that criteria.
All of this is subjective. You can still like Drake and J. Cole, or not one or the other, and almost like you're gonna just pick your team and stay there. So no matter what comes out about Drake, you're still team Drake. No matter what comes out about Kendrick, you're still team Kendrick. And I did have these like made up scenarios, like what if Kendrick and his wife divorce and it comes out that she was fucking with Drake? Will that officially mark Kendrick as the loser? Or what if Drake does get arrested, or it's come up R. Kelly style about him and underage girls? Will that cement it? I don't know.
Well, there was a verse that said something about like R. Kelly and how a lot of people wanted R. Kelly's music down from these platforms such as Apple and Spotify and so forth, right? Because of what came out to be true about R. Kelly being a pedophile or whatever. But people were saying like, well, you as the person have to choose if you want to listen to his music, because his music was a huge staple when it was coming out. People were bumping to R. Kelly. People really thought his R&B music was the shit. Like it shaped culture and history. That was R. Kelly. Yes, of course, with the new stuff that came out about him and him being in jail and blah, blah, blah because of the things he did. Does that really change the way you listen to his music? It's the same thing I would say about Drake. If Drake does come out to be a pedophile, like Kendrick's been saying, or if Kendrick's wife did cheat on him and they had an illegitimate child that Kendrick is taking care of, would fans really change their perspective on Kendrick? Would they stop bumping to his music, even his old music? You know what I mean? So my question would, my answer would be no. I don't think people
one way or the other
is one way or the other. But I feel like at the end of the day, it's your choice. You know what I mean? Like I don't think music should be taken out because they did this and they did that. It's the same thing with like paintings. A lot of these artists, they've done some crazy shit that you hear, like Leonardo DiCaprio did some weird shit, or Da Vinci did some weird shit, or this person did some weird shit.
Well, I heard Hitler was actually a really good painter.
But they still keep their painting.
So you would have a Hitler painting in your house?
If I bought it for how much money? Yeah, I'm gonna still hang that shit up. I paid for it. You know what I mean? That doesn't mean that you agree with what they're doing.
Right.
You just agree with the art. You just agree with the music. You just agree with the beat. You don't agree with the artist.
Yeah, I'm somewhere in the middle. I am leaning towards like what you're talking about. Art should stand on its own. But in this day and age where the artist is alive and the artist is coming out, with things, and how much do you support an artist after they commit the crime? Their back catalog is one thing. It may be, while they were making that music, we just didn't know, but trying to be objective with it as far as like the GOAT. So what do you think? Skill, longevity, and relevance. Because that's what that is what this was supposed to be about, is who is the GOAT. Like they're not even talking about that.
But anymore. That's the problem. It's gotten so messy that it's not even looked at like who's better at what they're doing. The craft just becomes so messy with allegations and she said, right, and what my neighbor told me and what I saw on Instagram and you know what I mean? A lot of the stuff that is just, it's like people were saying, like there was a verse where they said, what Kendrick says, OVO works for me. In that 16 to LA, that verse in that song really tripped me out. I was like, what does he mean by OVO works for me?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Even people were like, what the fuck does that mean? OVO works for me. So then we later find out that there's a mole in the OVO team.
Okay.
And from what I've heard from the grapevine, is the same mole that basically gave the information about Adonis to Pusha T. That's how Pusha T was found out about Drake's hidden son, right? But I guess that was real because Drake never addressed Pusha T after that, and he just announced that he did have a son. He's like, no, I'm gonna come out, get my hands nice and clean and say, yeah, I do have a son. His name is Adonis. This is him, blah, blah, blah. Yes, his mom is a porn star. We fucked around a couple of times. Unfortunately, she got pregnant, and it is what it is. So I feel like that's what he meant by like OVO works for me. Like, I got people in your team feeding me this information. But then Drake does come out and say like, nah, nigga, that was a setup. You know what I mean? That was us giving you false information, and you didn't do your due diligence by fact checking it. And instead, you just mentioned it. You went quick to the studio to drop a new song about it instead of, checking to see if that information was right. So that's what the daughter thing, because Drake does say like, we were the ones who fed you that whole, I had a 6-year-old or 11-year-old daughter.
Yeah, but I don't know if he did.
So why would he say that? Just to say like whatever.
Yeah, man, that whole song, The Heart Part 6.
Yeah.
That song
wasn't I don't say it was an apology, but it was more like...
It was more like him saying, nuh-uh.
Yeah.
Nuh-uh.
But at the same time, man, let me be honest, bro. Do you think being called a pedophile, how big is that? Like, because that could ruin people's careers.
That's worse than being a racist.
There's a difference between like, I could say like Drake is gay, but people wouldn't really give a fuck. It wouldn't be the end of the world. His career wouldn't die because he's gay.
He'd probably make more money if he's gay.
Exactly, right? But my thing is, being called a pedophile?
Right.
This is where I would say like Kendrick did maybe cross the line by saying that. But if you're going to call somebody a pedophile, that's not a word that you just commonly I don't go out in the street and because I'm pissed at you, I'm going to start calling you a pedophile. You know what I mean? That's not a word you just throw around like that. I might call you gay and just be like, nigga, you did something gay last week.
Yeah, he allegedly is doing things that are a lot pedophilish, like the way he talks to underage girls.
But that's where I'm saying like this
Billie Eilish
right now.
You saw that Billie Eilish thing.
I seen the Billie Eilish or Billy Bobby Brown. I don't know.
It might be Millie Bobby Brown. Where she's like, I turned 18 tomorrow. And he's like, I was waiting.
Yes. Drake does some weird shit, but at the end of the day, man,
mad weird.
It's receipts that you need the receipts. I feel like at the end of the day, for me to say Kendrick won this whole beef and argument or whatever they had back and forth, he has to come out with receipts, man. He has to bring out a song and just bring out like straight facts. Like Google this, Google that, look at this, just to fact check everything, bro, because to me it's wild for somebody to call you a pedophile, but then you can't back it up with any.
Yeah,
you get what I'm saying? It's the same thing with like the whole daughter. Like you're trying to look at it in a different point of view, but maybe he's saying like as like maybe an idea or maybe a future daughter that I feel sorry that your dad is going to be, Drake, Aubrey kind of thing, because the way he'd be disrespecting women and stuff like that. And I mean, we all know that Drake acts like he's looking for love. He's looking for marriage. He's looking to settle down, but we all know he's not there. The nigga's living his high life. And I don't know. I don't think he's ever going to come down.
Maybe. I mean, Lil Wayne got married a couple years ago,
but he became irrelevant. He stopped making music. Man. He kind of like dropped off a little bit. Drake right now is still the top. He keeps dropping albums every year. So he's doing tours and his popularity just keeps staying up. When you let that fame get to your head, knowing that you can have any woman you want, which is something that he's been saying, like he can't even take any other artist's woman. He took Rick Ross's woman. He's been taking Future's woman.
So did you answer my question about if, because that's what happened with Jay-Z and Nas, is that Jay-Z was talking about fucking Nas's girl in their car and leaving 30 condoms on the seat. He kind of lost steam or support from the culture because it was like, okay, well, that's a little bit too far.
Right.
So, is Drake also doing the same thing by bringing it up first, but then it is also Kendrick doing the same thing by taking it further, by directly writing letters to these people?
He is taking it. I told you, man.
Who's in the wrong though?
They're both in the wrong.
Yeah,
they're both just getting pettier and pettier every song.
Right.
At this point, is how petty can you get? I feel like that's the name of the game. How petty can a person get? I don't even think it's beef anymore, being honest.
They just don't like each other, bro.
But to that extent, to where, and a lot of things that Kendrick's been saying about him being mixed and not being truly black and whatever.
I think it's a cultural thing because he even does direct to Adonis. Like he says, you are a black man, you know, and Adonis is lighter than
way lighter.
So it's not about complexion or race, where it's about culture. That's what.
So that's what he's talking about.
Yeah, but I feel like, you know, taking it back to the Superman campaign.
Yeah, but
I feel like he's, you know, I think he's just too strong. So when I was trying to talk about
longevity,
longevity, and relevance, I'll start with relevance. Is there a difference between global relevance, cultural relevance when it comes to the GOATs? Because Kendrick
is culture relevance.
Well, yeah, there's an argument that he has more cultural relevance than Drake because he is, I don't want to say darker or blacker, but he's more in tune with giving back, or at least on the surface looking like he's giving back to the black community, while Drake doesn't give back to any community unless he's shooting a video for it, you know, like in God's plan. So
but he is global, like he has a global influence. Like
so when you're saying the greatest of all time, does it lean Drake's way where he's the greatest, or he's more of the greatest of all time than Kendrick because he has more of a global relevance
and numbers?
Then because Drake has like 20 songs that are on the number one. I think like 13 of them are just his.
Yeah.
And then while Kendrick only has 3 that are on the number one, and one of them was a Taylor Swift song. So, you know, where do you stand with that? If we can just like, you know, try to put scores on the board.
And which one's bigger? Like which one means more?
Yeah. Because I kind of want to take it back to where this is a talk about who's the greatest rapper.
If we're talking about,
and not who is a pedophile or who's baby's mama. Because it doesn't matter. Like to me, the pedophile stuff would be kind of fun. As far as like Dave Free and Kendrick and his girl and the abuse allegations, because I think not that it's true, but I think that it's there, and it could be Kendrick.
Kendrick does say in one of the disses that he says, "Oh, you heard Mr. Morales, so you're getting your information based off what you heard on my song or my album of what I'm saying about like." Because Mr. Morales was basically like I want to say it was like an in look into Kendrick's personal life, like what he's been going through, why he's been absent for the last 10 years.
But I don't know if it's true that he beat his wife.
I don't know either.
You know, and he even makes a joke, and you know, this is a joke that I do like, and which is why I wish it was more like this. Where he's like, oh, is it self-defense because your wife is bigger than you? Type of thing.
You know, Drake is also saying like, number one, your kid isn't yours. It's Dave Free, right? Second allegation is you beat your wife. So you're a woman beater, right? But nobody has come out and said anything. His wife could have came out and said like, no, my man has never put hands on me. I don't know where that allegation is coming from. Or his wife could have came and said like, those are my kids. Like, don't be putting my kid's name in your mouth. This has nothing to do with it. Like, you know what I mean? Like defending as a mom, I would want to defend. Like, first of all, why are you talking about my kids? You know what I mean? Like, why are you mentioning my kids? And now you're telling me that one of my kids is not even, you know what I mean? Like, not even their dad's kid. It's another dude. So you're basically saying I'm a hoe out here. I'm hoish. You know what I mean? Is that what you're saying? Like, so I would say as
wholesome,
like, yeah, you know what I mean? You think I'm just, what does the nigga say? He says, put your hands on your knees, shake it one time for Drake, and then shake it one time for Free.
Right. Yeah.
I thought that was kind of funny though. I ain't gonna lie. This nigga really trolling. And that's what Drake does. He trolls. He really trolls. Like that's what he does. So, and I feel like Kendrick kind of did that with the last song he dropped. Or Not Like Us. I feel like he was kind of trolling Drake towards the end of the song. But me personally, like there's certain shit that he said that literally his wife could have just snipped it. And then Drake wouldn't have no other ammunition to hit Kendrick with. Because a lot of these songs are on repeat, being honest with the allegations. You're still a woman beater.
That's what I'm saying. It should be between you haven't limited two people. That would be like Adonis coming out and saying, "Hey, my dad does teach me. You know, he does read me bedtime stories." Or Drake's mom saying, "Oh, you know, I don't approve of this." Or no, he's fine. You don't know him like I do. Or his dad's coming. Like they don't need to say shit. I don't think as far as like his wife.
They don't really like. They don't have a reason to say shit. But I feel like
that's bringing them in. That's
if she did say something, then that would literally be taking ammunition out of Drake. Drake can't say that on the next song that, oh, you're a woman beater, when his woman already addressed that and said that my man never put hands on.
They probably put hands on each other, bro.
They probably do, but that's their business.
Right.
But as your wife or not wife, because Drake also addressed that. You got proposed in 2015 and still no marriage. And why is Kendrick in New York in a lonely ass bachelor apartment for the last 6 months? Something else going on between your marriage or your little...
Maybe they're separating or something. I don't know.
We don't know. But that's the thing too. I feel like we don't know these people, man. Personally, we don't know them.
That's why I wish it was just about the raps and it was just very objective. So going to the next one, because this one's also very objective, like longevity. Drake did come out first. And, you know, they just continue to march forward. But if you're looking at the volume of music, Drake just has more song. Like Kendrick has like total, while Drake is like at the 200s.
Yes.
So.
But back to what you were saying, though, about like the whole culture and then global. And the end of the day, it's like being the GOAT. Okay, you might be the GOAT. I think Drake is initially he is the GOAT when it comes international. But when it comes to the love of hip hop, before things kind of like diluted into like, oh, hip hop is now pop, and hip hop is now a little bit of this, a little bit of that. But if you come right back to the core hip hop, which is rapping, which is being, you know, having the best lyrics, having the best rhymes, the best cadence, I will ultimately give it to
for relevance.
For relevance, yes. I feel like he does embody what hip hop used to be. You get what I'm saying?
Okay. And then what?
And then Drake embodies what hip hop is now. Does that make sense? Like he's that's why a lot of people say like when Drake drops music, it's mostly for the new generation. And that's why he's so relevant all the time, is because he's dropping music that still goes to his Drake fans, but also the new generation. While Kendrick, every time he drops music, it's really for the old heads, for the hip. Those are the people that really truly enjoy Kendrick's music.
Okay, so then longevity then?
Well, longevity, so Drake has been out for longer than Kendrick.
But you're also saying that Kendrick, a very archaic way of doing hip hop, like it is very old school. So if Drake is making music for the future, or for the present and the future, does he have more longevity?
I think so.
Than Kendrick.
I think so. I think the reason we're bumping so hard, like me, you, and a lot of people in the 30s, late 20s, 40s, and 50s, is because we just love the old hip hop vibe in him. Kendrick. We love on Kendrick. We love the fact that he stays true to the hip hop core versus Drake is different. You know what I mean? And that's when I was reading a lot of the comments, people were saying like the reason they like the beef and the reason they like Kendrick is because Kendrick is making Drake get back in the booth and actually drop real verses, drop real lyrics, drop real hip hop verse. You know what I mean? Not just as regular
like songy.
Yeah. You know, we're getting that old Drake back, the Houston Las Vegas Drake back.
Okay. And then the last one, the one I think is the most important, skill. So who has more skill? And skill is like lyrical skill, range, like, you know, how many different, not genres, but like different styles of rapping they can do. And then collaboration.
Well, Kendrick has...
Who has more skill?
He has different vibes too. Like he has like personas. I kind of think of him like as Nicki Minaj in a way, of like these personas of like Kung Fu Kenny or K Dot, or like more poetic kind of, you know what I mean? Like he has different, and he changes his voices a lot too.
Yeah.
Which is a thing my girl was telling me the other day. She's like, why he keeps changing his voice? It's kind of weird. Like it's
like he's at 3 features and they're all Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah. Like you're getting 3 different versions of
featuring
Kendrick.
K Dot, featuring Kung Fu Kenny.
Exactly. So he does have this weird aesthetic where he does that, but oh man. Yeah, repeat the question again.
So who has the higher skill, taking into account lyrical skills, range, and collaborations? So range, like, you know,
but Drake
is on Spanish songs.
He is on Spanish songs. He's on British or UK drill songs. He does change up his accents, where he does do a Canadian accent, an American accent, a Jamaican accent, and then a British accent. So he does try to switch it up.
Yeah, and the fact that he's like just inherently more R&B.
He does R&B, he does pop, he does street music, he does collab. Like, so he did music with Future. The way Future makes his music, like that vibe he presents. It's same thing with 21 Savage, which is more street music, more, you know what I mean, hood music.
So who has the higher skill when it comes to being a rapper? Because I think that is part of it.
I don't know, bro.
You don't know.
I don't know, man. It's hard, bro. Like it's a hard debate just because in my head I'm like, Drake has his good qualities, so does Kendrick. Which one outshines more? Drake can definitely outshine Kendrick in different things, in different skills, while Kendrick can definitely outshine Drake in different skills. You know what I mean? They both have their
Superpowers.
They're superpowers. They both have their, their shine. The question is, which one shines brighter than the other? Which one's the true diamond? Like, you know what I mean?
That's my question to you, bro.
Damn, bro. That was hard, bro.
That was tough?
That was hard. That was tough. That's a tough question, man. And I know people probably in the comments are going to be like, oh, well, But I feel like that's because you're either a huge Drake fan or you're a huge Kendrick fan. You know what I mean? You're huge into the new generation of hip hop, or you're really stuck on the old hip hop way where Kendrick lives and strives, which I'm both. You know what I mean? I do like the new hip hop, but I also do like the old school hip hop because that's what I grew up on. I grew up listening to all these people. So for me, it's hard to pick a side, versus the new hip hop where it's XXXTentacion, Trippie Redd, Lil Yachty, Lil Uzi. You get what I'm saying?
I mean, to pick a side, I think we are Team Cole.
Oh, for sure.
We're picking a side.
I ultimately think Cole picked the right side, and that was the side of peace. He is basically so. I probably think he thinks in his head, I made the right decision. I don't know if he truly needed to apologize, being honest. I still am firm about like he really didn't need to apologize. He could have just said, you know what?
I mean, it wasn't a public apology. He was just at one of his tours and he was in his home city and he was just talking like he does, ranting almost to the crowd.
Yeah.
Like they do some, I don't know. I just think that he shouldn't have been so quick to jump in the booth and say those things.
But he said it. He said the reason he jumped so quick in the booth was because people were hitting him up. People were waiting for a response.
I mean, how long did it take Kendrick to respond the first time
It took a while.
What, 2-3 weeks?
3 weeks. Cole responded first before anybody, before Drake or Kendrick even. But Kendrick didn't respond after. He responded after Drake. And that even took a while. I think Kendrick took like 3 weeks to respond. It took a while. Man.
I just think he should have made that song that way. And, shoulda. But I do understand after you make it. He just took himself out of the beef or out of this whole thing. Because I think he saw that the
dynamic it was heading.
Yeah, and then he would have to pick a side. He would have to either be on Drake's side, which he kind of was positioned that way because of first-person shooter, or he'd have to go back on his homie Drake and side with Kendrick, also knowing that you're not really on his side. You still have to like battle against him.
Back and forth.
Yeah, for that top role.
I think Cole did the right decision. He just separated himself out of the situation and just let them beef, because it really just sounds like it was more of a and I even told you too, I said if it was just like a friendly beef of just who is the best rapper,
friendly fade,
like a friendly fade, I definitely would have been like okay with just J. Cole and Kendrick, and that's what I thought it was. I didn't know it went this deep. I didn't even think it was gonna go this deep.
I kind of knew it was gonna get like this, bro, because
like this messy.
Yeah, because if you think about it,
like I'm gonna write a whole letter to your son, your mom, your pops, and your
bro, because I knew Drake was going to make it personal. He was going to get in there. And then I knew Kendrick just doesn't like Drake, bro. Like Kendrick fans almost don't like Drake fans and vice versa. Do you remember when all the young heads were ganging up on Cole, like the Little Pump versus J. Cole?
Yeah.
Because those fans don't like each other. Like J. Cole fans don't really like mumble rap and new age music. And the new kids don't really want to hear that corny, conscious, like preachy stuff.
Yeah, they want to hear the drugs, the pussy, the ass clapping.
I could just tell that, and like I said before, like Kendrick fans don't really like Drake fans. Hardcore Kendrick fans don't like hardcore, and vice versa. So you can hear that also in the artists themselves. Like they lead very different lifestyles. Even in their first collab, which was a song I think on Take, where Drake or Kendrick is on Drake's song talking about he's nervous about being a super famous pop star, rapper turned pop star. Drake is just so good at it. Like he's just so well. He handles being a superstar very well, and he doesn't think that he can do that. They're not even on the song together either. Like it's just Kendrick. It's called an interlude. So that kind of like, I don't know, that juxtaposition shows that they are just too different. And Kendrick, I was talking to my brother about it. Kendrick is also just very different from J. Cole, is different from Big Sean, is different from Logic. They're all the same in some ways, but you can have your different positions and different fan base, different message, and still work together and against each other, on a rap song. Because even on J. Cole's freaking, Forbidden Fruit, where Kendrick's on it, they're not rapping against each other. It is Kendrick doing the same thing he did on Drake's song, just doing the interlude, just doing the hook, like not really like rapping. I don't know. Have you heard that song, Black Friday. It's fucking fire.
Yeah.
I want more of that. But
I think that's what a lot of people wanted. They wanted a collab between J. Cole and Kendrick, an album together. That would have been fire.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that I'm not a Drake fan, but I don't check for Drake's music just because I know it's gonna be on. Like I know I don't have to listen to it. I don't have to.
Eventually, you're gonna hear it on the radio.
I'm gonna hear it.
Somebody's gonna play it on their phone.
Yeah,
you're gonna walk by. Somebody has bumping it in their speaker. You're like, that's a new Drake song. Oh shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
And not that I don't vibe with it, but I just don't like need to I don't need to look for it. I don't need to eat that. Like I don't have to prepare that food for.
Yeah.
I know it's gonna be at the.
Somebody's gonna have it at the potluck. This whole beef though, bro, it's been crazy. I think it's been a hell of a roller coaster ride. For all Drake fans and Kendrick fans. It's a huge divide right now in the in the music industry of who is right and who is wrong. I think at the end of the day, it still falls back to receipts. I mean, you're making
receipts.
Yes, bro.
Nah, bro. It's about bars. It's about bars.
He has bars, but I think, bro, that's a lot of allegations you're saying, man.
But it's not even about the allegations. I hate that it is about these allegations.
But that's the problem. Like you want beef is different. Beef is like you're going back and forth. You might say some crazy, but nothing crazy. The shit they're saying now is like beyond beef, bro. That shit is like, nigga, I heard you fuck cats on the side. What? Drake, you fucking kitty cats on the side? Like, what the hell? If you said that, cool, everybody's gonna go wild. But then people are gonna be like, all right, Kendrick, where'd you hear that from? Are you just making shit up at this point? Everybody talks about Kendrick don't lie. Why would he lie? Why would he spread rumors and shit about Drake if it's not real? Cool. I respect that from a person. Cool. You're not here out just saying bullshit and lies. You're trying to, straight to the facts. Let's stay to the facts. But if you're bringing facts, where are the receipts? How do I know? Like I said, personally, I don't know Drake. Personally, I don't know Kendrick. I don't live with these niggas. These aren't my cousins. These aren't people I call every other Sunday just to check up on them. I don't know them. So for you to say something for the whole world to know, but you're not bringing...
He has a line in that damn song, The Heart Part 6, where he's like, oh, if I was a pedophile, I would have been arrested. I hate that line.
Well, first of all, there's mad pedophiles out here that has never been arrested.
Yeah, so
and they keep getting away with it.
Yeah,
there's a line that he says too. He says, I'm too famous to be a pedophile.
Yeah.
What the fuck does that mean?
Yeah, I tried. I looked into it. I can't sustain both.
Like, what the fuck does that mean? There was a lot of shit he was saying on the last one.
Yeah, man.
I was like, nigga, like there was a verse where he said like, oh, he was telling Kendrick, wherever you're getting your information from, they must be clown. 2 bars later, he says, we're the one leaking that information to you. So nigga, so you're calling yourself a clown?
Yeah. I don't know, man. I just disagree. I don't think it is about receipts. I don't need to know one way or the other.
So how do you know who wins?
The things that I just described to you: the skill, the relevance.
So then you have in mind
Drake won his battle with Meek Mill, even though we still know that Drake has like an asterisk around his name where he like, oh, is the greatest. You always have to say, damn, which one of his ghostwriters wrote that? It's almost like using AI, which he did. Like
which is hard.
You use AI and you write me a song, and then the AI thing writes you a song, and then you just perform that song.
Yeah.
So Drake won that battle because killed Meek Mill with that song back to back.
Yeah.
He got a Grammy off of it, and
shit was bumping at the clubs, and Meek Mill couldn't escape from that song. It was everywhere.
And I can't remember if he posted a song afterwards.
He didn't
responding. So
no. So to me, sometimes I feel like if they don't respond, I'm assuming they gave up. They're like, fuck it, I can't come back from. Yeah. Same thing with Pusha T.
Sometimes, right?
But people say Pusha T won because Drake never responded back. He never.
Yeah, because
the only thing he did was just acknowledge that what Pusha T said was true by presenting the whole world to his son. You know what I mean? Right. That was like him acknowledging like, okay, I lost this one. So I have to show my son.
Maybe Meek Mill lost the battle, but he didn't lose the war. Because
that nigga's losing with whole P. Diddy allegations. That nigga been lost.
But I'm saying, like, as far as like, now Drake is looked at as this guy rapper who has ghostwriters, who is a, shitty father, at least the early stages of the kid's life. And, videos with him and his son. And I don't know, they look like they're very weird too. As far as
like he tries to be a good father. But that's the thing. That's what I keep telling people. I was like, you don't know them personally.
Right.
You don't live behind their doors.
Right.
You don't know what they do behind those closed doors. You don't know if Drake is only posting pictures of him doing shit with his son just to make himself look like he's a good father figure, when in reality, maybe he has nannies and people to take care of his son while he's out traveling, doing tours, fucking bitches and doing this and that and that. You know what I mean? We don't know this. That's the problem. We don't know this. So when Kendrick comes on and says that nigga's a pill popper, that nigga's just fucking random bitches every other day, that nigga takes drugs, that nigga's on Ozempic, that nigga has a gambling problem. Where are the receipts, my boy? That's what I mean. It's like somebody coming out here and saying mess shit about you. Oh, X does this, X does that. He sucks at podcasting, blah, 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 this, and that. You know what I mean? He's talking mess shit about you. And then people...
Battle podcast. Get me on the podcast, bro.
You know what I mean? It's talking so mess shit about you.
Right.
But only I would know if any of those things are true because I know my boy. You know, I know this nigga behind closed doors. What we might present to you guys out to the real world is just an illusion of what we want you guys to know about us. You get what I'm saying?
That's what I think. So
what if Drake is a real pedophile? You know what I mean? But again, behind closed doors,
fans, I think, will not drop. I feel like there are some fans on the outer rims that will kind of take how you said, R. Kelly approach to his music. Like, One Dance. Well, who is he talking about? Who is Kiki? How old is Kiki?
Right?
Shit like that. He might have that around his name, but I don't know. I still will stand firm with almost like Donald Trump, bro. I think he's just bulletproof.
Yeah.
I think he's just going to recover. He's just going to have another string of songs or a string of like releases that'll overshadow this. We'll still come back to it, but
okay.
I don't know.
So let's say this. Let's say Kendrick...
I wanted to do 3 things to see who won the battle, like how you said.
Oh, like who really won the battle?
Yeah, like the relevance, longevity, and skill.
Do you think
longevity we won't be able to answer at the moment?
But do you think this rap beef would be talked about like years from now?
Yeah, man, people are
as like one of like the craziest rap beefs. Like we lived through this, bro.
Hell yeah,
we were there when they dropped that shit back to back to back to back. Like
people still talk about Meek Mill, but they're also still talking about the Control verse. Like it's just like a big thing.
That's true. That's true.
Because it does bridge these different things. Like
so, then my other question is: let's say Kendrick doesn't have receipts for a lot of the shit that he says.
Yeah.
Can Drake sue him for defamation? That's a huge talk I've been seeing around that Drake should sue him if he doesn't have any facts or any receipts to back up the shit he's been saying. Because that can really fuck with somebody's profile. You know, it's just it goes back to like when women scream rape, but nothing really happened. Because that happened to that actor, the guy that played with Michael B. Jordan and Rocky. I keep forgetting his name.
I know you're talking about Jonathan Majors.
Yeah, Jonathan Majors. He got accused of raping somebody and his whole career fell apart. People started not fucking with him no more. Even after she said, no, it wasn't him. Even after she took it back and said that wasn't him. We haven't seen him in any movies lately. And this nigga was crazy good. Like he was in mad movies coming up, magazines, Vogue. He was everywhere. His name was everywhere. And then after the accusation, boom, he was done. That can fuck Drake's career too. Being called a pedophile, bro, that is not a light word to just be throwing at people.
Right.
Can he sue Kendrick for defamation? Would he sue Kendrick? If in the end of the day,
he would, bro.
Kendrick can't prove the shit he was saying. Because I don't want music out there that says I'm a fucking pedophile. I want all that shit taken down. Because now you're lying on my name.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. He needs the receipts, bro. You can't just be calling people and saying shit like that and not have the receipts. That's what I'm saying. I feel like Drake already dropped his last song. Basically saying like all that shit is false. We're the ones who fed you that information. If I was really a pedophile, would I not be in jail? You would never catch my name, Drake, in the pedophile book or whatever. Nigga, your name is not Drake, it's Aubrey. I will have to look up your real name, Aubrey Graham, right, to see if that name is in the pedophile list. You know what I mean? Not Drake. Like Drake, there's a bunch of Drakes out there in the world, man. Yeah. But you know, this is shit that he was saying. But basically what I implied from that last song is saying like, if you don't come up with proof and you're just going to continue saying just crazy shit without evidence, I'm not even going to reply back no more, bro. And it makes sense, bro. Like, this has been a long-ass beef. This has been back-to-back. These motherfuckers have literally been living in the studio for the last week. Just constantly making music just to diss each other. He sounds tired. Drake sounds tired in that song. He sounds like, Fuck, I'm tired, man. I'm tired. If you're not gonna bring receipts, bro, I'm not even gonna answer you no more, bro. At this point, I feel like you're just saying shit out of your ass. Like you're just making up shit at this point. And that's true, bro. If you're just gonna continue making up shit, that makes you look even bad. Like I feel like that would lose so many street creds for Kendrick. You get what I'm saying? Like you're gonna make yourself look bad, bro. You really are. And you're gonna disappoint all your fans.
Yeah.
So to me, it's like you come with receipts or just shut the fuck up.
Damn.
And I know what I'm saying. Like I'm siding with Drake on this one. Right, yeah, I know I'm siding with, but it's in reality. Let's be truthful, bro. You're calling people pedophile. That is not a light word to just be thrown around like nothing. It is not a light word. That's the shit that gets that nigga investigated. That's the shit that gets FBI's ears wide open. That nigga said they're gonna raid your house next. The same way they did to Pit Diddy. That's some shit that like, damn, what the fuck do you know that we don't know, Kendrick? Let us know. Or are you just saying this shit just because of the beef? Just because that would, put you on top. Saying some crazy shit like that. Get the receipts, my man. Give the receipts. I know you don't want to snitch either, but snitching on pedophile is not even snitching, bro. That's just... You're saving people's lives. You get what I'm saying? That's not like, like another thing that I was thinking about too. I'm like, damn, there's a huge conspiracy going around and it's been talked about that Drake was the one who put the hit on Tentacion. There was a song that he released where he kind of like implied a little bit about it when he said if that nigga would have stayed quiet on the stream, he would have been alive again.
Drake said this.
Drake said this on a song. And he did like some multiplication lyrics where it kind of ended up being like X, like 10, the number 10.
Oh, okay.
So I was like, it could have been a reach, but people did say that because Tentacion did have beef with Drake. He kept calling him out saying like, nigga, you stole my flow, you stole my music, you stole the way my cadence, the way I rap, blah, 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 and you made it your thing. You know what I mean? And he came out on the stream and said that. He's like, fuck Drake, fuck him, catch him on the streets, blah, blah, blah. A couple of weeks later, the nigga was gone. So there was like, you know what I mean? So I was like, damn, like, will Kendrick say some shit like that? Like, nigga, I know the real truth about what happened with X. Who really put the money out there on the streets? But then if he says some shit like that, then the nigga's snitching. Then he niggas a snitch.
People like X though.
People do like X, but you still snitching, bro. You can't be snitching. But again, being a pedophile is a whole different story. It's a whole different ball game. So if you do have something on Drake, I would just spill it. Spill the beans. I
mean, he might, just because that's what he called out to Drake last is like, let me see the receipts.
And now there's a couple of songs out there now that literally says I'm a pedophile.
Yeah.
So either bring the receipts or I literally can't see Drake suing and telling them to take out that songs just because he's calling him a pedophile when he's really not. Or if he is, I don't know. But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
what do you think about the future of this? How do you want to end it?
That was my question. I'm like, at this point, how would this beef even end? At first, I was like, they're crossing so many lines. I feel like in the memes for RDC World 1, like Crody keeps showing him the gun. My man, this is like the last option. And I feel like it could come to that, like that being the last option. Like us, like literally watching the news and saying there was a shootout in Compton by Kendrick's house. And you'd be like, who set that up?
Or vice versa.
There was a shootout in Toronto by Kendrick's favorite restaurant where he was seen a couple hours ago eating. Who put the hit out?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like that's some shit it could end. That was some shit that I was worried about with Chris Brown and Quavo.
Just because they are kind of like...
Because it sounds like Chris Brown like really about it. And I think that nigga is really about it. Same thing with Quavo. I think he might be about it. So that was my thing. I'm like, where's this beef go? When there's so much hatred to each other, that's where the shit goes, bro. It's like, all right, man. I said what I needed to say. Fuck that. Let's bring it to the streets.
Well, it sounds like Drake is throwing the white flag. And if Kendrick puts any song out, we'll say without receipts, I think that's where it'll end.
I think that's what it'll end. Because Drake said it. I'm not going to respond unless you're coming with receipts. Like simple as that. I'm done. You're either back up what you're saying or you're not. You're either going to address the shit or you're not. And personally, Drake, Kendrick hasn't even addressed the whole him being a woman abuser or beating his wife or even about his kid not being his.
Right.
You know what I mean? He hasn't really said anything about that.
I mean, it's fast. I mean, I don't know. Just like how Barack Obama didn't provide or produce his birth certificate just because people were calling him out.
Yeah.
In the same vein, they might never address it, his wife and his son or whatever.
I mean, it could possibly, but I feel like if Kendrick wants to like officially be the winner, I think he will have to drop a song where he addresses these allegations that Drake says and he brings receipts to the allegations that he brought
to be cemented as the winner, you think?
That's the only way to win, bro. That's the only way to win. For him to drop another diss track, I'm gonna be like, and keep calling him a pedophile. He did that the last 3 songs, my boy. Just because you say it one more time doesn't mean it's true.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's it. That's it.
Right or am I wrong, bro? I feel like you're not agreeing with me on this one. Like,
I don't know.
So to me, it feels like you feel like Kendrick won. Because he had the best verses, he had the best cadence, he had the best lyrics, the best disses. I do give you that, man.
I feel like Drake is running out of steam, bro. Like that last song.
I think he's running out of ghostwriters. Because that last song, people say that sounded like he wrote that himself.
I know, right?
I don't know how much he paid for Family Matters, but that was literally, to me, that was like the best diss song ever. I think that even goes further and harder than Back to Back. Me personally.
Really?
I think Family Matters was a fucking banger.
Do you think it was like
And the fact that he made it 7 minutes long, so an actual 7-minute drill that J. Cole couldn't produce.
Yeah.
I thought that kind of went hard, bro. Yeah. And he addressed everybody. I like the fucking diss that he did on Rakim, aka ASAP Rocky. The diss he did on Rick Ross. That nigga also being on Sempic. Everybody's on Sempic lately.
I guess that's a new drug.
It's the new drug, bro, and everybody's on it, bro. The whole him having fake abs, like he addressed everything on that song, and I thought it was perfectly made. That nigga really came in hard with Family Matters.
So I don't know. What do you think the best Kendrick song is?
I think his last one.
Not Like Us?
Not Like Us.
Right. So Not Like Us.
Yes. But murder-wise, the one that gave me goosebumps, the one that really got me fucking going was 616 to LA.
Really?
I called you, bro. Did I not?
Yeah.
Did you not hear the excitement in my voice when he released that song? And I was like, bro, I don't know how. And the funny thing is that everybody kept saying, how is Drake going to come back from this one? How is Drake going to come back? How is he going to reply to this one? Can he even reply? And I kind of gave it to Drake. I'm like, he replied. He fucking replied. The same thing when the nigga dropped Meet the Grams. People were like, how the fuck do you even reply to that? At that point, you just gotta pull out a gun and start shooting because that nigga disrespected your kid, disrespected your mama, disrespected your daddy, and disrespected your possible daughter that you got out there.
I don't think he disrespected them.
My man, he said, I don't think your daddy's a true daddy. If you want a real role model, come talk to me in 18 years.
That's not disrespect.
That's disrespect, bro.
That's disrespect.
Somebody said that about my kid. It's like you saying like to my son or something like that. I would have. Nigga, pull up. Don't even talk about my kids like that. And then you brought my mama into this? Bro, bring your mom.
He's like, sit down, lady.
Sit down. Yeah.
Should die.
He says, sit down because the shit I'm about to say about your son, your kid, your seed is going to be heavy.
You should never hear this over this funky a beat.
It's going to be heavy. And that nigga had the nastiest beat to it too. That shit was so ominous. Like it was like, fuck. Like I thought a demon was going to come out of my fucking speakers, bro. Like I thought that nigga was summoning a demon or something with that beat. That shit was like Michael Myers chasing your ass beat, bro. That like, oh.
So I think that's how it's going to end. Drake collaborations will be a little bit more spotty, but it won't stop up and coming rappers and even existing rappers from collaborating with him to get that number one song. And same thing with Kendrick. I think he is going to just go back to being a hermit and like retreat back into his mansion or whatever in New York.
All right, man. No, I think what you said is right. In the end of the day, either Kendrick replies back with receipts or stating the allegations that Drake has put upon him about him being a woman beater. I feel like he has to come back with like some type of redemption. Like what I said was right, and I feel like if he doesn't reply, it's kind of like saying like, Drake was right. Like you don't have receipts. You're just saying shit out of your ass. I feel like he has to reply. He has to say something. Because if he doesn't, then you're basically agreeing with what Drake is saying. Like you don't have receipts. The whole thing about my daughter was you agreed that I was the one who fed you that information. And you didn't do your due diligence and actually fact checked all that information.
I think he is going to reply. I just don't know if he will come with receipts. I also just don't think, because it is about public perception. Like it is about what the crowd thinks, where it just also falls back to what you're talking about. Without receipts, can he sue? And I think he can and will.
Yeah. So then who's winning? Drake.
Why? Just because he sued him?
Well, what if he wins? What if Kendrick has to take down all those tracks that he put up?
It's already on YouTube.
It's already on YouTube. but on his YouTube channel. So he can take it off. I mean, it's already there. But the fact that he has to personally take it out of his YouTube.
That's fine. He took down TaylorMade.
Because he got sued. But then he did say that it was Kendrick, the one who made Tupac's...
I wouldn't even count that as a W for Kendrick, that he had to take the song down.
But the same thing for... Kendrick did say that Drake also wanted to take down what was that song?
Like That. Yeah, he put a cease and desist on a bunch of people. That's why I don't put it past him to sue Kendrick and PG Lang or Top Dog Entertainment for those songs, because it sounds like he's kind of like fed up. But
it does.
I don't know. It doesn't sound like a good thing. Like, I know he was trying to be jokey at the end. Like, yeah, this is good to get my pen game going, and I'm glad this was able to inspire you to put songs out.
He was trying to like kind of ease it down, like, and that's what Kendrick keeps saying, like, because he said it like, yo, you can hide behind your memes, you can hide behind your Wi-Fi and your trolling. He's like, but you're not gonna do that with me. You're not gonna Tootsie roll your way out of this. So, but he is trying to dial it down. I think Drake, it's finally like just tired of it and just like, yo, either you pull receipts or you don't. Either way, like, you know, it was a great beef. I don't think they're going to shake hands in any way, but
I don't think so either.
Do you have any favorite verses before we end up this podcast?
Favorite verses?
Like a favorite, verse either from Drake or from Kendrick?
I like all of Kendrick's. The Meet the Grams, I think of it almost like some of the songs in Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. Some songs that I'm not really in a rush to play or replay, like those songs that are like kind of heavy.
Like Meet the Grams? That's a song I wouldn't like.
That's the song.
I listened to it twice just to re-listen to it, but it's not something I would play back to back. This shit was too heavy, bro.
It's heavy, right?
It's too heavy.
It's heavy. But I don't know. I think it's still not mandatory, but good listening. Like, you do still need to listen. I like all these other songs. I do kind of like Not Like Us.
Why not?
I do like it.
Oh, I thought you said I don't.
I kind of do like it more than 16 in LA.
But you like Push-Ups way much better
than Family Matters. Yeah, I like Push-Ups the most out of Drake's songs. I kind of don't really care for the Heart Part 6, but I like the execution, because he's kind of saying like, hey, you're only doing this to promote an album, you know, and that's what he does. He does a hard part, and then that promotes the album. And then, you know, Drake with Six God. So I do like the execution. Same thing like with TaylorMade, but TaylorMade and the Hard Part 6, those are two songs that I don't really care. So that's where I kind of have to Drake. Favorite lines, just all of it, bro. The whole thing.
I had one line from Not Like Us. That shit was on repeat in my head. Y'all niggas get a wedgie. Be flipped over your boxers. What a OVO for? The other vaginal option.
I know. And then he goes, pussy.
Pussy.
I love that part.
I had to pause it. I was like, did you hear that? That nigga said, y'all niggas got wedgies. Flip over your boxers. What does OVO stand for? The other vaginal option? Pussy? I was like, damn, Kendrick.
I know.
That's a bar, bro. That bar was hitting so hard. I was like, with the beat on top of that, I was like, damn.
Yeah. I like where he goes, he's probably trying to strike a chord, and it's probably A minor.
Yeah, like that. Yeah, and that's what I mean with this one. I feel like he was trolling.
All of them. Even when he in Euphoria, where he's like, put my kids to bed. I see you don't know nothing about that. No, nothing about that.
Nah, man.
All songs of Kendrick. And I do, you know, we were talking about it in our regular podcast a long time ago about how I wish Kendrick would release 10% more music, and then I'd be fine. I'd be satisfied with that. And, you know, this is kind of like 10% more. This is like fucking 4 songs.
Yeah.
If we're not counting like that.
Yeah, man. It's crazy. Just me personally, Like Us from Kendrick and Family Matters from Drake are my 2 top favorite disses songs from both. Yeah. Let us know in the comments below, or DM us or whatever. Let us know which one is your favorite. Let us know if you agree or disagree. Should they bring receipts or not? Or are you on the X side? They don't really need receipts on this one. I really think if you're going to call somebody a pedophile, you got to bring receipts. That's just too heavy of a word to be thrown around, me personally. I really don't stand between. I'm with J. Cole. I feel like at the end of the day, we're both J. Cole's team.
Yeah, because I kind of wish
it's just better just to stay out of this mess. And if it was like a competitive beef, I think J. Cole would definitely have jumped on just to prove that he is good with his words and his pen game is on point. Yeah. You know what I mean? But he knew this shit was going to be super messy. So I applaud him for stepping out the way and just letting them deal with this shit.
Yeah.
Because me personally, if I was part of this beef, I wouldn't even want to be a part of it. I don't want to be associated with the word fetal at all. I don't want to be associated with the word wife beater. I don't want to be associated with any of that. That got nothing to do with me. So proud to J. Cole for stepping aside and you're like, y'all let that figure that shit out yourself.
He'd be the hardest one to beef because he's got the least, I don't think he has any baby mamas or.
That's what I was just thinking too. I'm like, damn, what kind of dirt would they have gotten on J. Cole? Besides that, the reason why that nigga really rides a bicycle everywhere. I don't know. Like, so they'll create some crazy shit. Like, oh, y'all want to know the real reason why that nigga rides a bicycle? Because that nigga can't drive.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
Because that nigga can't drive. He don't know how to drive.
He's got too many DUIs.
Or yeah, or like he never passed his driver's license test. And he just said, fuck it.
I think they would just do the corny stuff. You just,
Yeah, it'd be corny as fuck. You'd be like, that's kind of corny. Kind of funny, kind of corny, but like, But like, what's the real beef? Like, that nigga does have a kid.
Maybe he's the worst. Maybe he's the worst.
Yeah, he's the worst. He's the worst father figure of them all, bro. You never know, man. But thanks for listening to this hyperbolic filler. I know it's probably random. We did post it on IG just to let you know that we are dropping our thoughts on this whole Kendrick versus Drake, Aubrey versus K. Dot, The Boy versus Kung Fu Kenny. We're going to choose the side of peace over here at the Normn. J. Cole.
Yeah.
It is what it is. We prefer the peace, but it's been great. I feel like we did get some freaking great moments out of the whole hip hop industry. Like, this is going to go down for the books. This is definitely going to be a conversation years from now as probably one of the greatest beefs that ever went down. And then, we'll definitely know how it all wraps up, what ends up being the conclusion of this beef, and who truly took the W on this one.
For sure.
For sure. You got anything else to say, X, before we sign out?
Tune in next time for scenes from the next episode of the Hyperbolic Filler.
And we out. Deuces.